Homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. There is chaos today in Washington, D.C. I'm recording this on the 24th. And, there's this huge protest that's going on. The police are involved, of course, surrounded by protesters. All this because Benjamin Netanyahu is speaking to Congress about the war in Israel, which is really interesting because I was thinking about it. If you think back to Israel's first three existential wars, the War of Independence, the Six-Day War, and the Yom Kippur War, I don't think, or I haven't seen anything to suggest that there were protests back in those days. So here we have Israel's fourth existential war. The prime minister is here in the United States trying to drum up support. And you have these wild protests going on. And I tend to think that this is the final war. Or at the very least, it's the beginning of it. Just because of how it started, its similarity to the Yom Kippur War. This war started 50 years and 1 day to the day from the Yom Kippur War. And it's just very unusual. And there's a lot of potential for escalation. And then, of course, there's the Ukraine-Russia war factor to all this. The world's very unstable right now. It's also interesting to note that this is happening on Pioneer Day. I already did a video talking about a couple other things going on today, like the fire behind Ensign Peak, and then the announcement that Salt Lake City will be the host city for the 2034 Olympics. So it's been a very interesting day. Three kind of just unusual, interesting things going on the same day, Pioneer Day. So I didn't really pick anything out about his speech to share with you. Maybe you watched it. Maybe you can comment if you found anything noteworthy. But anyway, he spoke to Congress and then chaos ensued. They took down the American flag, of course. By the way, this is taking place not too far from the U.S. Capitol building, which is right here. If you go this way, you have Union Station and Columbus Circle. And so it's basically just a stone's throw away from the Capitol building where Benjamin Netanyahu was speaking. Okay, so they took down the American flag, of course, put up the Palestinian flag. You have the people being bussed in, of course, because it's my feeling that this is part of essentially the color revolution model and the tactics that are used for that, which basically radicalize people. They foment unrest and produce these protests and stuff like that. So I'm not so sure all of it is completely organic. I highly doubt that that's the case. I feel like at any given time during American history or world history, you always have a population of people that are willing to go out and cause mayhem for anything. They just need an excuse. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. And so today it's this. So, and then of course, you have the real thing on the left and then you have the cosplayer on the right, not doing such a great job, but whatever. It's kind of close. That's another big thing, wearing costumes and trying to look cool. This person doing a spray painting on this monument. Hamas is coming. Okay, whatever. Like Hamas is at this point nearly non-existent, but sure. Okay. Hamas is coming. And then more, graffiti and stuff like that. You have these two girls spray painting. And with this particular video, there's just always with so many of these people, when you look at their faces, there's always this weird, goofy, prideful, sassy look to them. It's like they're having fun and they're just being defiant. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this isn't the best example, but I feel like I've seen it so many times, just this goofy look on their faces. Here are the police being surrounded by the protesters, feeling all powerful with this bad behavior that they're engaging in, burning the U.S. flag, and then thankfully people being arrested. And then I don't know this guy. I just pulled this up because this was another video and it just showed more of what was going on there. And then another view. So I don't know that I'm going to put this on a spreadsheet, but there has been a lot going on this year in Washington, D.C. I have my spreadsheet called Signs United States. And the first one on here is actually from 2021 with this that happened, right? But then not too far from Washington, D.C., in Baltimore, we had the bridge collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, named after the author of the national anthem. And then we had rare tornadoes around Washington, D.C. this year. This was in June. The bridge collapse, this was in March before General Conference. And then in June, you had these rare tornadoes in the D.C. area. And then you have this. This was later on in June. There was this wax sculpture of the Lincoln Memorial. And because of the heat, it started to melt. And it looked pretty dramatic. They didn't think that it was going to melt. And it actually puzzled, I guess, the artists who made this. They did some like reinforcements to it so that it wouldn't melt. Or I don't know what they did, but that's what they said. But it still melted. And the creators said that there must be a higher power that's doing this. And people were commenting how, you have Abraham Lincoln who was assassinated, and this kind of gives that type of visual, which is interesting now in hindsight as we look at what happened this month with President Trump, the attempted assassination of President Trump. So there's just been there's been a lot of things going on with Washington, D.C. Just this year. Now I know that there's a lot that goes on there. It's the nation's capital. It's no stranger to protests. So that's why I'm probably not going to put this on this spreadsheet. I don't know how significant it is, but what I think is significant is just the context in which it's happening. Again, we're witnessing potentially the final war. And as far as I know, Benjamin Netanyahu, I think, is the only prime minister of Israel who's ever met with an apostle from our church. I should have pulled this up. I'm always amazed at this picture. The Israeli prime minister with, right now, President Holland and Elder Cook, right? So this photo is like even more profound if this does turn out to be the final war. But anyway, if it is, he met with our apostles, and now he's speaking at the nation's capital, and there's all this unrest. So we'll just have to keep an eye on things. But that's it for this one. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.